कंपेनियन के आज के इस एपिसोड में आप सबका स्वागत है। मैं हूं सुजाता और आज का एपिसोड होने वाला है ढेर सारा मोटिवेशन और इंस्पिरेशन से भरा हुआ। अब करियर में, लाइफ में कई बार हम ऐसे सोचते हैं कि हम सक्सेसफुल होना चाहते हैं, हम जॉब में प्रमोशंस चाहते हैं, हम अपना खुद का बिजनेस शुरू करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन हमेशा हमें लगता है क्या हम ये कर पाएंगे? अगर हम ये करना चाहते हैं तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए? अगर हम फेल हो गए तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए? और इतने सारे सवाल जब मन में उठते हैं, तब हम जब किसी और की सक्सेसफुल जर्नी के बारे में जानते हैं तो उससे कई बार हमें इंस्पिरेशन मिलती है। तो आज मेरे साथ स्टूडियो में ऐसे ही एक व्यक्ति मौजूद हैं। His name is Tarun Ghulati. He is a very successful entrepreneur and a motivational speaker. और उनकी इस जर्नी के बारे में हम उनसे जानेंगे। तो चलिए आपकी उनसे मुलाकात करा देती हूँ। अगर आप भी उनसे कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं, उनसे बात करना चाहते हैं, तो आप जानते हैं आप बिना किसी संकोच के अपना फोन उठा के हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं हमारे नंबर्स पर जो आपको टीवी स्क्रीन पर कुछ ही देर में दिखने लगेंगे, या फिर आप हमें ईमेल भी भेज सकते हैं zcompanion@ztv.co.uk पर। So Tarun, welcome on Z Companion.
Thank you so much.
So सबसे पहले मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी आपकी इस जर्नी के बारे में, from where you started and now the level that you've reached.
Well, I started in India and worked with a company called Xerox. Xerox, those days, was every copy that came out was a Xerox copy. I launched that in India as a sales executive. You went around knocking doors. You had to make 10 cold calls a day. There was a boss asked you at the end of the day, why didn't you make 10?
Wow.
And then after that, I joined a company called Philips, where I was in charge of designing lighting systems. So you went around lighting entire townships. So if you see the capital region from Delhi to Meerut, and then if you look at Rajasthan, all the roads were lit by me those days. Of course, you had engineers with you. I'm not an engineer.
You did the designing part of it.
We did the designing part and, of course, the selling part.
Okay.
The success lies in actually getting the order. There are tenders. So people actually bid on tenders, and Philips was the costliest, but then your relationship with people matters.
Right.
And then I moved on to join banking. So I joined Citibank, and I ran sales and distribution for North India. Then I ran collections for North India when people wouldn't pay up. And sometimes we use collection agencies and they picked up the wrong guy's car. So the bank decided to keep collections at arm's length and tasked me with setting up companies for the bank, where the chief executives would be from the bank, but the others would not aspire to be part of Citibank. So the transition, the systems of Citibank to these companies, I set those up in Delhi and Mumbai. And then moved on quickly. I was headhunted by HSBC. So I went to the investment bank. I ran the financial institutions group for Eastern India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. The idea was, those days, Indian banks did not have the wherewithal, neither the footfall overseas. So my role was to give them that ability to transact business globally.
Right.
And then I went on to run the credit operations for Eastern India for HSBC, which basically meant you kept other relationship managers on the straight and narrow. You made sure all the securities and the risk and the reward for the bank was in line with what the bank had set out to do. You held out all the audits. And then HSBC is the only bank in the world which maybe for about 100 years has a dedicated cadre of no more than about 300 international managers, which basically means you pick up your satchel and keep moving from country to country. For your sins, you pay no taxes, no bills. So you're perhaps the highest paid banker in the world in many ways. They had just bought Midland Bank in the UK, and they needed 5 mid-career managers. I just joined the bank. There was a global trawl, about 18,000 applicants for 5 individuals. So I happened to be the first Indian selected. I guess I was lucky. There are, I guess, many people who better.
I won't say it would just be luck. It's also about your qualifications and the work that
I do hold 4 postgraduate qualifications, but at the end of the day, I think hard work, luck, and all the stars getting aligned. So it did work out for me. I went on to Hong Kong. From there, I ran credit and risk for HSBC for 15 countries across Asia Pacific. Anything north of 400 million would come to your desk. Something very exotic like aircraft financing one day, it could be a structured deal, it could be pure vanilla financing. When you visited these countries to make sure that the relationship managers and the credit stacked up, the risk and reward for the bank We safeguarded that. I then ran operations for 15 countries across Asia Pacific for HSBC as operations manager international, again from Hong Kong. Any new initiative of the bank, opening new offices. For instance, I was involved in a 33 billion merger for the bank. New offices across New Zealand, Kazakhstan, you name it. You dealt with the regulators, so it was an interesting job. I then went on as a senior vice president in Thailand, Bangkok for the bank. From there, I went on as deputy CEO for the bank in Qatar.
Wow.
Then came to the UK. I ran our Asian businesses. And then I ran a $40 billion business for the bank called, I was heading up HSBC Premier, where we made about $1 billion for the bank. And then I also headed up the International Personal Bank. And then I had 6 stacked, for the passport. I had 6 booklets. I decided this journey is enough. They were shooting me off to Armenia as CEO, and I decided to remain here and called UK home now. And then a headhunter contacted me out of India. I became the global CEO for UTI International. We had about 2.5 billion in funds. I had country managers sitting in Bahrain, Dubai, CEO sitting in Singapore. So it was a Guernsey registered company. I sat on about 14 boards for them. And then in about 3 years, and we raised about 700 odd million. These were difficult times, when the crises that hit 2008, 2009, I raised some 700 odd million. The strategy was very simple. You used other bank sales forces. If you don't have it with you, ask somebody. You've got to ask for the business. So we went around contacting people. I then later on became a group president and CEO for an entity in Mauritius, which had other outfits all across Africa. I was vice chairman of a listed bank. I ran the largest insurance company there. And so I've sat in about 30 odd boards. And so it's been an interesting journey, a lot of learning.
Wow. It's been a very interesting journey, definitely. You've achieved so much.
Thank you.
And to say you started off by going door to door.
Yes.
At that time, did you think that this is the level where you would reach? Because that's when people get frustrated. That's the first job that they do and they're like, this is too much, I can't do this. Did you ever have that stage?
I never had that. It's a mindset game. I think life is a journey, as you correctly said, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Take it step by step, pace it, but keep that goal in mind. You will have stumbles across the way. I've had my set of failures. But at the same time, if you keep that goal in mind, I remember being asked when I was being interviewed by this gentleman, general manager for Xerox, what do you wish to be in 2 years' time? I said, sit on your chair. And I did not make it to general manager in 2 years, but you can see what I'm talking about. You've got to think like that, and then suddenly you'll find the openings will come about. If you're sort of thinking, if you're a doubting Thomas, you'll never make it.
Absolutely. मैं आप सबको याद दिलाना चाहती हूँ कि अगर आप मेरे मेहमान से कोई सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं तो आप बिना किसी संकोच के अपना फोन उठा के हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं. हमारे नंबर्स आपको टीवी स्क्रीन पर दिख रहे होंगे. So obviously आपने बात की about a lot of challenges that you must have faced और जैसे कि आपने कहा कि शुरुआत में अगर सपना सिर्फ इतना ही देखो तो उससे आगे जाना मुश्किल होता है. That's what you mean.
Exactly.
You need to dream big and you need to have the patience to actually reach that stage.
Exactly.
But that is something easier said than done because जब आप उस stage में होते हो, but not only career wise, उसके अलावा भी आपके इर्द गिर्द इतनी सारी चीजें होती रहती है कि you might reach a point where you're getting frustrated. What would you say someone should do at that stage?
I think don't get frustrated to begin with. You will have challenges. Play on your strengths. So if your strength is meeting people, if your strength is be honest, never be dishonest. So you might not achieve, like I said, I have to make 10 cold calls a day.
Yes.
If I made 9 on a certain day and I got 4 successes, your boss is still happy.
Yes.
Don't try and fib around. It doesn't work. Go around passionately what you're doing. Otherwise, it's difficult. And whilst you face those challenges, find a way to find solutions. Don't delve on the problem. Think of the solutions. That's important.
Absolutely. And a lot of people would probably have asked you this question before. What do you think is the recipe for success? Everyone wants to be successful in life.
I think the recipe for success is think big, aim for the skies. Don't be daunted by the challenges. Don't be crestfallen with the failures. Learn. The process of learning is never ending. So read a lot, know what's happening around you, know what's happening in your industry. Your peers and your competitors others should know you. They should look up to you. Otherwise, it's no good. Don't think you know it all. There may be somebody who's got 10 years lesser experience, but you're always learning. So, that's important. And keep on sort of keeping so for instance, as I said, I've got 4 postgraduate qualifications. Why did I have 4? Because I felt the first one wasn't good enough and I went for the next. So you've got to keep on learning, keep imbibing that knowledge, and you'll find that success will come your way. Keep trying.
Absolutely. I have seen this more in probably the market or the job market in the UK as compared to India, where even if you don't have the right qualifications for the job, but if you can do the job well, you will still be selected over someone who probably has much more qualifications than you. Have you come across such a situation where you had to choose between 2 people, one qualified and one maybe can just do the job as well?
I have, in fact. I actually bumped into that gentleman in the tube recently. I used to be running the branches across South All and Northwest, and this gentleman, I won't name him, had a diabetes problem, which was very severe. He was slumped on a chair sometimes, and the bank had actually removed him.
Okay.
And then I was looking to start a mortgage advisory business for the bank in that particular part of the region. And somebody mentioned this person's name. And I said, but they also warned me that he's got these problems. I said, those problems can happen to me tomorrow or to anybody. You can fall ill. I want to meet this person. So I met the individual and I was very, very impressed with his passion for the work, his knowledge, and I hired him. Now, there were other people, as I said, who were suggested to be hired who didn't have that issue. I promise you that gentleman never took a day off.
Wow.
And he worked because he was very happy that I gave him that opportunity. So sometimes you got to make a difficult choice, but make the right choice, which is fair. And I made that, and I'm very happy for that. He's doing a great favor to the government, actually. He's working on the pensions business or whatever now. But that's how it works.
Absolutely. So speaking about failures, आपने कहा कि जब आपने शुरुआत करी या फिर इस स्टेज तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको भी उस राह से गुजरना पड़ा है जहां पे फेलियर्स आए हैं, तो क्या आप हमारे साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं कि आपने कैसे ओवरकम किए ये फेलियर्स?
I think the failures I've faced, I would call them challenges. I don't delve on failures. I know there will be, you can't get everything in life. So for instance, as I said to you, I didn't become general manager in 2 years, but I rose much higher than that later.
Yes.
So I paced myself, but the goal was always there. I worked hard. I've traveled on first class, but I've also traveled on ordinary buses. So that's the difference. So those are difficult moments. You've traveled in rickshaws and tangas across India. So that's important. But the failures at work, I have actually been very lucky that I had a good team around me. I surrounded myself with people who were as good or even better. So sometimes you surround yourself with good people, don't blame others, lead from the front. I wouldn't call them failures, but sometimes you miss some targets in sales, but I made sure the next quarter I did better. So overall in the year, don't think, if you pace yourself, so, sales, for instance, if you're in sales or whatever, you're dealing with numbers. I'm a numbers person. So at the end of the day, if you find that a certain quarter you've fallen behind, your run rate can be faster and the company is still happy, isn't it? You've met your target. So don't be daunted by one quarter. Life is a little longer than that one particular quarter.
Absolutely. So can you share with us one of your most challenging moments in your career and how you excelled after that?
I think the challenge was when the bank HSBC was selecting these 5 individuals out of 18,000 people, and you're sitting in India, you're just new to HSBC, and you know that so many people have applied globally. And believe me, there were excellent individuals who apply from India, and you learn about what's happening around the world. You got to learn about new things that are happening to banking. You got to prepare yourself. It's a mindset. How do you parachute yourself into different circumstances? And I quickly adapt to change. And so what I did was I realized this is a journey. No posting or no role is going to last for a couple of years. Take it as a challenge, hit the ground running, and success will be yours. So whilst it was a challenge to parachute yourself into new countries, pick up your bag and move, I did that. So if you treat a challenge as something that is actually going to lead to something more successful, you can overcome it. So it's not a problem. I'm never daunted.
Wow, that's a beautiful thought. And on that thought, we need to take a very short break.
Thank you.
But we'll return after that. तो जैसे कि मैंने कहा, हम एक छोटा सा ब्रेक ले रहे हैं. ब्रेक के बाद एक और खास मेहमान हमारे साथ स्टूडियो में मौजूद होने वाली है. उनके बारे में आपको बताऊंगी इस छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद. कहीं भी मत जाइएगा, देखते रहिएगा जी कंपेनियन.